So tonight is Sukkot, the first night of Sukkot. Just to share a little something about Sukkot, something we spoke about this morning a bit, and it's a kind of preview to tonight's Farbrengen. So we all know that we have the two holidays of Sukkot and Pesach that are often like juxtaposed to each other as in comparison, right? And in general, Nisan versus Tishrei, right? Tishrei is one beginning, the beginning of the year, and Nisan's another beginning, the beginning of the months. Right? So Torah says the first of your month should be Nisan. So it's two beginnings, and they each have their holiday to celebrate that beginning, right? You have Pesach, which celebrates the beginning of our people, and then you have Tishrei, which is like the beginning of the year, right? But there's a big difference in the way there's a beginning. The beginning in the way Nisan is a beginning is a fresh start. The story begins at Pesach. We become a people, taken out of Egypt. We get the Torah, which is like Shavuos, like an extension of Pesach, right? You come out of Egypt to get the Torah, right? So it's like the beginning of the storyline. Yeah? Whereas Tishrei is a beginning, but it's a re-beginning. We're already a nation. It's not the beginning of the story. Tishrei is like a re-beginning. It's a restart, not the beginning. Right? Because between Pesach and Shavuot and Tishrei, what happens? TESHUVA, Shivas Tammuz, you have the breaking of 2 tablets. The Jews messed up. Then you have Elul of TESHUVA. Rosh Hashanah, we recommit ourselves to Hashem. Yom Kippur, Hashem says, okay, I've forgiven, you're my people. And then we celebrate on Sukkot. Right? Which is why Pesach doesn't need any preambles. Right? Pesach is on the 15th day and Sukkot is on the 15th day. But to get to the 15th day of Sukkot, there's a whole preamble of Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. To get to the 15th day of Nisan, no preamble, you just start. Just got to show up. Because Nisan is the beginning of the story. Whereas Tishrei is not the beginning of the story. It's a restart to the story. That's right. In other words, Nisan is the tzaddik's service of Hashem. Where every Jew is a tzaddik. Right? Even in halacha. In halacha, the Jewish people became Jews at Pesach and then Shavuos. We all went through a process of conversion. The halachas of conversion follow the pattern of what you did when they left Egypt and came to Mount Sinai. And new people. Just a new person. There's no backstory. Right? So what's the celebration in Pesach? That we've been endowed with all this potential. But we haven't yet borne it out yet. We haven't borne out the potential yet. Now, when we do bear out our potential, we inevitably mess up. We have a broken tablets. We have a TESHUVA. And only when we fight through the process of TESHUVA, Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and we're recommitted, now that's the great celebration of Sukkot. So whereas Pesach is a celebration of the potential, the perfection, Sukkot is a celebration of the actualized. And the actualized always comes through struggle. It's the Baal TESHUVA. The ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. And through all of it, I come through, I stay committed, I make my commitment, even if it means I have to mess up and fix up and this and that. And that's the truest, deepest celebration. That's why Sukkot is such a high celebration. This pattern is also expressed in the biblical narrative of the holidays. The biblical narrative of the holidays are the harvest, right? Or Pesach, the Medrash says this, that Sukkot is the highest level of celebration because the Torah says 3 times with respect to Sukkot. To be celebrated, to celebrate. The other Yom Tovim, it just says generically you should celebrate in your holidays. So the Medrash points out, why is it that by Sukkot it says 3 times celebrate? Well, because on Pesach you're planting its potential, you don't have anything yet. Shavuos, the harvest starts to grow. Some of it's already harvested because the beginning of the season, but not everything. At Sukkot time, the summer's over, everything's been harvested. Now it's the full celebration. Right? It's just the same idea. We're in Pesach, it's the beginning, just potential. You're celebrating that you've been endowed with potential. Born a Jew. God chose you as a Jew. He took you out, made you into a people. You have all this potential. We're celebrating the possibilities. But we don't know how it's going to bear out yet. We have no idea. And indeed, when it bears out, there's all kinds of mistakes along the way. But Sukkot is a celebration when we harvest everything. When everything is brought in. When it's full, all the potential has been born out. With the struggles, with the fight, with the seasons. Rain, the sunshine, all the ups and the downs you have to go through to finally produce the fruits that you have on Sukkot. That's the ultimate celebration. This is the big, big celebration. So in a word, Sukkot is a celebration of the Baal Tshuva. It's a celebration of the man, like most of us, who have to go through a fight, to go through a struggle, everybody on their own level. Right? And in this way, there's a certain color to Sukkot that doesn't exist in Pesach. Because in Pesach, everybody's the same. We're all Jews. We all got born Jewish. But in terms of how we live out ourselves as Jews, and how we struggle, and how we fight, and how we do teshuvah, everybody's different. So Sukkot has got that color, the four kinds. Four kinds come together, all the different types. You have the Esrog type of teshuvah, you have the Lulav, and you have the Hadas and the Arav, and everybody's got their own, but everybody comes together in one big Sukkah. And this is truly the big, big celebration of Sukkot. Not just the celebration of I'm born Jewish, but the celebration of I'm fighting to be Jewish. I'm fighting to live out my Judaism, fighting to live up to what the potential I've been endowed with on Pesach. It's the celebration from below to above, rather than the celebration from above to below as is Pesach. Right? This is indeed the great and wonderful celebration.
That's a good way of putting it. Above to below.
Below to above. Tzaddik versus Baal Tshuva. Tzaddik's from above to below. He's endowed. You're born with a neshama. Hashem chose you, took you out of Egypt. Today you become a nation. Hashem laid us on Yisrael, as the pasuk says it, taken out of Egypt. Now you got to fight, and when you fight, you got to struggle. And indeed, the like the expression goes, that in the ark, both the broken tablets and the whole tablets were there. Right. In the first time round, when they build it, before they mess up, there's only one tablet. Well, actually, they mess up first. But anyway, there's when you come to the end, at the end of the story on Yom Kippur, when Hashem finally forgives the Jewish people after all the mess up, and now they have the ark, and they build a sanctuary, they have both the whole luchos and the broken luchos is there, which means even your struggle comes along with you. It's not a perfect story. The broken luchos are still in the heart. Right? The Aron still has the houses, the broken luchos, which means in our hearts, in our own personal ark, the broken tablets are there because we know what we did, we know who we are, we know what our struggles are. But with all of that, we forge forward. That's the big celebration of Sukkot, which is why it's so explosive. Much more than Pesach in many ways. 3 times it says Sukkot. It says joy on Sukkot. Because of that struggle, because of that fight, because of the effort we have to put in, the Baal Tshuva's experience, that colorful experience of fighting to bear out the potential we've been granted. Yeah, you want to say something? Sorry.
From like an extension of Sukkot in that sense.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because Purim's also from below to above, as opposed to Hanukkah, which is above to below.
Of our dedication.
Yeah. Actually,
commitment to
Torah. Yeah. There's actually a play on words in the connection between Yom Kippur and Purim. Right? Yom HaKippurim, even though the kaf of Kippurim is part of the root word. Kippur means atonement. And Kippurim is like atonements, in plural. But it also could be a play on words, Kippurim, like Purim. Kaf as a prefix for Purim. So there's the association, absolutely, because
it's just before like Pesach too, in a sense. Right?
You start anew. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a little preview, God willing, for what the topic of tonight's Farbrengen is going to be. That's going to be Farbrengen tonight, as Hashem at our sukkah. It's going to be the subject, the color of the Baal Tshuva, the passion of the Baal Tshuva, the celebration of that flavor, of that color, not the monolithic, truth that we're all born Jewish. There's a certain,
not that monochrome.
Yeah, exactly. We're all born with the same Jewish gene, but how that's lived out is very different for everybody. And that's really the celebration of Sukkot. This is the individuality that comes together. Right? The lulav, esrog, hadas is all different types of species, all different experiences. They all have to come together. Even the hadas, even the esrog, which is perfect, right? The esrog is the perfect one, has Torah and mitzvahs. But the halacha is, the pasuk says, pretty eitz hadar, if they get a beautiful fruit. What's a beautiful fruit? It doesn't tell you what kind of fruit it is. Many different ways in which we extrapolate from that we mean an esrog. And one of the ways is like this, because the word hadar, which means beauty, can also mean hadar, the one who dwells. So it's a fruit that dwells. So the esrog is a kind of fruit that dwells on the tree for a full year. It requires all seasons.
Right, they don't all become ripe at the same time, so it's like a perpetual tree of fruit.
Correct. Because all seasons are required in order for it to be the esrog. So even the esrog, which is quote unquote perfect, has to go through all 4 seasons to become who he is. Not just an easy growth. So the whole story is the story of the work of the BAAL TESHUVA, who goes through all these various different experiences in life, some ups and some downs, and still comes into the sukkah. Like the expression of the Hasidim are, there's 2 mitzvahs that you immerse your entire body into. Mikvah and a sukkah. You immerse your entire body.
That's right.
But in the mikvah, you do so without your clothing on. You have to shed your baggage. In the sukkah, you come into you come with everything in the sukkah. And the expression is, afilu in the blotta from the shich, even the mud on your shoes come into the sukkah. Because even your baggage, even your history, also comes into the sukkah. And that's the story of Sukkot. That's the celebration of Sukkot. With all the struggle, with all the effort, with all the movement, and all the color and flavor that comes along with these experiences, all come together to celebrate because we're all committed. We're all in. Each one in their own unique way. All under one big sukkah. Kol Yisrael, Ruyim, Leisha B'Sukkah Achas. All Jews are worthy of sitting in one sukkah, says our saviors. So that's going to, God willing, going to be the Farbrengen tonight, which you hope will be the inspiration for Sukkot. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and a good Erev Yom Tov. Sorry? Yeah, a good, happy Erev Sukkot. A wonderful day, Yidden.